Hey, how's it going? Welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time to the channel. My name's Frank, and here on this channel, we look at how we can use technology to learn and teach and be more productive. And in this video, we're going to look at something that I think a lot of people are intimidated by, they're a little nervous about, and it's not as hard as you might think, and that's content creation. Videos like this video, or videos on a subject that you're familiar with, maybe a screen capture if you want to show somebody how to do something on a computer, maybe a demo or a voiceover of some PowerPoint slides that you have, a presentation that you'd like to give, creating a TikTok reel, an Instagram reel, a short video, a longer video. There are so many places where we can create content that then can sit there and help people understand something even if we're not available. So this is fantastic, and I really encourage, especially teachers and instructors, to create content on their subject matter expertise so that they can help their students at 3 a.m. in the morning. A student can go and see a demo. And I have this channel, so obviously I'm pretty sold on it. But the challenge with content is that everybody thinks it's really hard to do. Everybody thinks, oh, I need a special camera and I need special microphones and all sorts of, software that's complex to learn. Well, in this video, I'm going to introduce you to some software called Wondershare DemoCreator, and I'll show you just how easy it is to create your first piece of content. And the cool thing about this software that I think you're going to like, that I like about it, is that you can create content very simply, even by taking a PowerPoint presentation that you're already using potentially and just making that into a film. I'll show you how to do that, all the way up to more complex editing as your skills and your needs grow. So it's a good piece of software for what it says, creating demonstration content. Let's take a look at DemoCreator and some of the great things that it can do. I can't show you everything it can do because it can do so much. This would be a huge video if I showed you every feature. But I'll show you some very cool features to get you started. Now, I've gone to the DemoCreator website and I've downloaded a copy and installed it on my computer. You can install it on Windows, you can install it on Mac, you can even run it through the Chrome browser. So I have it installed on a Windows machine. And I like to divide things into two sections. There's the video recording, which is really capturing, screen capture, audio, camera, all sorts of ways to capture media and create media. And then there's the video editing, where I can go in and I can edit my video and make it even better. And both of these are very robust. They have a lot of things that I can do. There's lots of cool features, such as the ability to take content that I may have already created, like longer content, and break it into smaller content for Instagram and TikTok. Using AI, it'll break my longer content into little short clips. I can also do automatic subtitles, and this can just allow me to reach a larger audience. If I'm using this in my classroom, I can use this to subtitle into different languages if I need to, or to help students with accessibility issues. I can have text-to-speech, where I can go in and I can type out, or I can use some sort of text that I have, and I can have DemoCreator convert that text into speech using a multitude of different voices. I can also do AI text editing. This is very helpful if I have a piece of content and I want to edit that content. If I'm using video editing tools, it can take a little while to move around and cut and splice and work with those tools. But what this does is it allows me to have my video converted and have a text of my video, and then I can edit the text. I can remove filler words and silences or sections that I don't want, and it synchronizes directly to the editing timeline without me having to do that manually. It'll automatically allow me to edit with text, but still see the results in video. And then I can do even AI voice changing. This I find very useful if I want to create content and have multiple voices in the content. Let's say I want to create content where I have a simulation and there's myself talking to a student. I can have a AI text generated voice for that student. So the AI generated voice can create variety in my content. I really like that. Now, those are all features that we have, and I can create some videos on those features. Comment down below if you'd like to see some additional videos after you've watched this one. There's so much that we can do with DemoCreator. Let's take a look at working with the video recorder features. I can record directly from my camera. I can do a screen recording, very handy. I can do things like record audio, even gameplay if I want to do gameplay. I can even have a virtual avatar, which is very fun and easy to do as well. And I can create video presentations, which is extremely useful because I can import PowerPoints and then just turn my PowerPoints into videos. Let's look at a screen recording to begin with, and then I'll do a video presentation as well. So we'll start off with a screen recording. And when I do a screen recording, we'll just start the screen recorder. I have a nice fresh installation of Windows here, so I'll record this screen. Notice that I can record the full screen or a custom area. I could have different dimensions in here for things like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. And this gives me a lot of flexibility on exactly what I'd like to record. I'll do full screen for this. I can also go in, and if I have program windows, let's say for example, if I had Internet Explorer or the Edge browser open, I can focus just on that application's window. If I get pop-ups and that sort of thing, then it won't interfere with what I'm recording. So that's very handy. You can see I have a little red bar around it indicating that I'm recording just this program window. That becomes very useful for me, and it avoids those little pop-ups that can sometimes get in the way of my screen recordings. I'll turn that off for now, and I'll just actually go in and close the Edge browser. I can also go in and do all sorts of very interesting pre-built magic tools, if you would. I can do things like Smart Zoom. So what will happen is as I'm doing the screen recording, I will actually zoom to the area that I'm working with. This is a great feature that prevents me having to edit it later on. I can highlight my cursor so it's easy to see. If I do any key combinations, I can have those show up on the screen. And I can even make sure that my voice is nice and clean as I'm recording. Audio is a very important thing, and we have a lot of tools in DemoCreator that can help me with audio. I even have a teleprompter built in. So if I want to have a script that I'm reading word for word or take notes, I can gather my thoughts in the teleprompter, and then I can use that as I'm recording. That won't be part of the recording, but it'll be there for me to refer to and use to ensure that I stay on track and make sure that everything is exactly the way that I want it to be. Now, I can choose to go to my camera, so I have several cameras connected to my computer. You can use your built-in camera, whatever camera you might have attached. Selecting the camera here will allow me to have my image imposed into the screen recording. So as you saw earlier, so you can see there's my face in the camera, and I can put a circle around this. I can modify it. I could use a circle, I could use a square. I can have different borders in here. I can go in and change my background if I want to blur my background out. I can do things like invert the image or flip the image if I like. So if I want to go right to left, left to right, and you can go in and you can make sure that it's exactly the way you like. Now, it is worth noticing here that it's a little bit choppy in this recording because I'm recording a recording. When I'm using DemoCreator, it is nice and clean. Now, of course, I could also use a beauty filter. In my case, of course, I don't need a beauty filter. I know what I'm working with. I'm just joking. This is a great way to go and change your appearance. You can make things a little more professional and such, and the beauty filter is there for you. I'll just go back to a circle. I'll actually turn the camera off for this. I can also go in and choose my audio device, so my microphone and such, and I can capture system audio. So if I want to do a screen recording where maybe on the screen there'll be different audio prompts and such, I can make sure I capture that. And check this out. I can actually schedule a recording. This is very, very handy and useful if I want to, say, for example, do a demo and I'm doing it at a specific time. I can make sure that I capture that. I can choose the location where it's going to be saved. And this is a very useful tool that I'm exploring as well. And there's all sorts of different configurations around the file structure, the type of video. I usually do a high quality video at 60 frames per second. This will depend on your computer and your camera, but you'll get these options to improve your quality or select the quality that you would like. So I've got a really great way of doing a screen recording. I can choose my webcam by default, whichever one's attached to my computer. You can see a preview of the webcam here. We saw that a little bit earlier. And if I go in, I can also set up shortcut keys to start and stop recording whenever I'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and create a recording here, and then we'll see what's happening. So you notice I have the F10 to stop, F9 to pause, gives me the countdown, and I'm just going to take this folder and move it up here, take this shortcut and move it down here. Very, very simple screen recording, but wait till you see what DemoCreator does with this. Once I stop it, it'll go through and it'll say, here's your recording. Takes a few seconds, there it is, and I can preview it, and notice that my cursor is highlighted. Notice that I'm zoomed in. Notice that this screen recording is absolutely beautiful and really allows my viewer to see exactly what it was that I did. So I can take that screen recording and I can go in and actually bring this into the DemoCreator editor if I'd like. I can go in and edit what's here. If I was recording my audio, I could do the text-based editing right there, or I can import it into my DemoCreator editing space, and you can see it'll transcribe everything that I was saying. And once it's transcribed my audio, I can then edit it as if I was editing a text file. I can remove all of my pauses, any filler words that I may have had, and you can see very simple audio that I recorded there. And I can take these pauses at the beginning and at the end of it, and I can go in and silence those. I can detect that silence, and I can delete that. So I can go in and delete silence portions of the video. I can delete things like filler words. I can search for words if it's a longer transcript. That's very, very handy. So this feature alone saves me so much time when I'm doing any type of editing. I'm going to cancel for now because I'd like to show you some other features, but you can see just how powerful it is for me to be able to quickly create a screen recording that I can then share. I can edit this further. I can drag this down to the timeline. I had a fairly nice camera there, and notice all of my different edits are right there. I've got my AI voice cleaner is in there. I have my cursor highlights in there. I can preview everything. I can change anything that I like in here, and there's a lot to the editor. So like, it's a very robust editor with things like AI features to denoise it. I can do voice cleaning. I can do voice changing even. So if I wanted to take the voice here and make changes to it, I can go in, select from many different voices that I might want. For example, if I want this to be narrated by somebody named Amy, I can have her voice instead of my voice. Screen recordings are one of my favorite ways of demonstrating software or anything that I'd like to share with my students. But there's another feature that DemoCreator has that's really useful for instructors, and that's the video presenter. By doing a video presentation, I can go in and create a narrated adventure, if you would, that my students can follow along with me. Let's take a look. So when I go into video presentation, I'm able to create a presentation based upon a number of different templates that are built in or come with DemoCreator. So this gives me the ability to create a presentation, narrate that presentation, and then turn it into a video. But I can also, besides choosing any of these wonderful templates, I can also import a PowerPoint. So let's say I have existing PowerPoints as an instructor, and these are different presentations that I may be giving in class or in a training session. I'll just go in and grab one that I have underneath my training here, how to create engaging content. And you'll see there's a little video of me for a moment, and it's going to load up my PowerPoint in a second here. So it's going to grab my PowerPoint, and what it's going to do is take all of the PowerPoint slides that were part of that presentation, and it's going to create a presentation with my video right here. So this is a video of me talking, and I could go in and I can hide that video. So I can just have the presentation and I can record the audio, but you'll see that every single slide has been brought in, and I can narrate this now with either showing the camera or not showing the camera. I can do this on a per slide basis. So you can see here I've got the camera. I can move my camera around. I can change the size of my image. I could make it a rectangle. I could flip it. All the things that I can do with a camera. And let's just get rid of that. And I could hide it this way, of course. And you see it, sometimes I want to hide it. I'll go through and hide a bunch, move some around if it makes sense for the slide, make it a little bit smaller. It depends on your own needs here, but as I create this slide deck or modify this slide deck, I can then go in and record it. And when I record the slide deck, it will actually take my narration for the PowerPoint as I'm presenting it. So I only need to present this as if I was presenting it in the classroom or a training session. Starts recording, and I just begin narrating and talking, going through the slides as I normally would. However long I spend on a slide, it will keep track of that. If some slides I go through quickly, it'll only have them on the screen for a short period of time. If some of the slides take me more time to explain, then those will be on the screen. So I can go through, and then when I'm done, I can stop this. And this will actually allow me to turn my PowerPoint presentations into an entire video. You can see here that I've now got my PowerPoints here. I've got my timeline down at the bottom. I can go in and I could convert everything I said into text, and I could edit that text, and that would change the amount of time that a PowerPoint is presented. I can trim and work with the slides this way. I can do all of these things here, or what I can do is I'll cancel that, and I could go in and I could go full screen. I could look at it full screen, but I could go in and play it, so I could take a look at it. You'll see that my narration would be here. I've turned the audio off for this one, so I don't have audio on top of audio. And I can go to advanced editing as well, where I could add all sorts of different effects. So you'll see my slide shows up as a movie now. My PowerPoint slide deck is showing up as a movie. Actually, I'll bring that up there. That was my screen capture from earlier. So you can see I can bring that in. I can combine a screen capture with my PowerPoints. That's pretty handy. But let's go to my PowerPoints, and you can see here that I can do things like clean up the voice on this PowerPoint presentation that I just created. I can make modifications to it in changing the voice, for example. So with this PowerPoint, I'll go back to the beginning of the entire presentation here, but I can do whatever I need to do to clean up and to work with this presentation to make it into a movie. I can then export it when I'm done, and we're all good to go. The two features that I've shown you here in this video, creating a screen capture and creating a PowerPoint video, are just the tip of the iceberg. But they are the two things that I recommend people get started with because they're accessible, easy to do, and they'll get you started with DemoCreator. And you'll create some incredible results just using those tools. Once you've started using DemoCreator for a while, you'll start working with the editor a little bit more, and there is so much you can do. You can have templates that you can use in order to give your video a professional, polished look right away without a lot of additional work. You can put annotations onto the video. There's many things you can do around video effects and different audio effects. In fact, the audio effects are really robust because they use AI in order to do things like clean up your audio, do AI audio voice changing, as I mentioned before. You can remove voice. There's so much you can do with audio that really is quite useful. Everything in this menu is useful, and as you explore your creative process to make your videos more and more exciting, your demos will get more and more exciting, and you'll begin to build a content library that you can use for anything. You can use it for creating game content, classroom content, and maybe even your own YouTube channel like this one. If you're interested in seeing more features of DemoCreator, let me know. I'm happy to walk through individual features and talk about how we can use them. There's so much here, but the key is it's so simple to begin. So why don't you go and grab a copy of DemoCreator. Also, thank you Wondershare for sponsoring this video by providing a copy of DemoCreator for me. I appreciate that, and I'm going to be playing around a lot with this tool because I'm pretty impressed with the things that it can do. Comment down below if you'd like to see anything specific, and we'll see you in the next video.